podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
How's it been? Long time no speak. You've been on holiday in somewhere up north, I think it was.
Yeah, I went to a place called Saltburn by the Sea, just north of the North York Moors National Park, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was...
Men are men and sheep are many?
Yeah, I didn't see that many sheep. No, I saw a few little, few good sheepy lads here and there. I saw a lot of birds, seagulls, house martins, all of that stuff, because staying on a flat on the seafront. But it was really, really nice. Highly recommend that part of the world, the northeast coast. It was real good.
Yeah. And then you've been struck down with illness or dental.
No, yeah, I had to have a tooth out. That was prearranged. Ouch. Yeah, it's fine. It's all fine. It's one of the back ones that you don't need.
No, that's right. In when did we last speak? Have we spoken since I returned to the UK from my trips abroad spying?
You were still
on behalf of Her Majesty
on MI6 duties. I can't believe you haven't resigned, given the current government that you're now working for.
Well, it's for king and country, isn't it? It's duty, not for the government.
No, absolutely. How's all that going? Are we winning?
Yeah, winning, always winning. So sick of winning. Sick of winning.
Oh, talking of sick of winning, I know we said we would take questions later in the show, but a question here from Andy McCoy at Mac Attack. Now that we've lost the cricket, what other sports are any good?
Well, strictly speaking, we haven't lost. There's another game to go. It could end up in a drawn series.
Absolutely. It's just that just because cricket isn't weird enough, a draw means the team that lost last time loses again. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't do cricket chat this time. It was easily my favourite part of the Rantcast so far this year.
Now cricket again. We no longer need to talk about it. Take up curling. It's winter's coming. So
yeah, that's a good one. Is ice hockey any good? I don't know. It sort of looks fun, ice hockey.
It's fighting with sticks.
Right. I mean, fighting with sticks. That's kendo, isn't it?
Yeah. We can talk about Southampton. You didn't see this game because you were up north on the seaside.
Literally, it is because I was up north on the seaside that I didn't see this game, because I went to a pub that had Sky Sports to go and watch the game, but they were showing the Middlesbrough game that was happening at the same time, because it was like 20 minutes away from Middlesbrough, so it was literally location defeated.
Like the only part of the planet that you could that could have been true in, because everywhere else you could have gone to the remotest part of the Amazon jungle, found a pub, and they'd been showing the United game.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I went in there and the ads were on, so I didn't know that the wrong game was on. So I bought a bottle of water and a packet of crisps all ready to go. And then it flashed up the Middlesbrough. I was like, oh no, I've got this bottle of water and packet of crisps I could have got literally cheaper anywhere else. Anyway,
we don't have to talk about this much. United drew 1-1. They were very sloppy with in attack. Had a lot of shots. I mean, hell of a lot of shots, although a lot of them were like pretty speculative, I'd say, and maybe 3 or 4 good chances. After the game, Ollie made a lot of United not taking the chances, and I think a lot of that was about spaces created rather than actual good, clear-cut chances. And then sloppy at the back for the equaliser from, who was it? Che Adams, I think. Was it?
Could well have been.
So long ago, I can barely remember.
Could well have been, but nobody cares at this point.
Yeah. It was the header. So kind of sloppy punch, poor challenge, poor covering rounds, mixed up with zonal marking type thing. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about the good stuff. Daniel James scored again. I think basically someone else said it on Twitter. He's the Welsh Iron Robin. because he only scores by cutting it in and bending it into the top corner.
The thing
Worldies every time.
It's all right if he's the Welsh Arjen Robben. We just don't want him to turn out to be the Welsh Ashley Cole, Ashley Young, who lost his ability to do that at some point.
Yeah. Lovely goal for him. He scored a very similar goal for Wales in midweek in Euro 2020 qualification.
Today, well done.
And yeah, well done on given that we called him Bebe the other week. We are one here on the pod until you then we are not.
Okay, I was just going to say no, veto.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll see. I think there's still lots of question marks about the maturity of his game, but he can finish. He knows how to find space, and he just looks a lot better coming off the left than the right, which is a bit of a problem given that we have Rashford, Martial, well, no longer Sanchez, and James all wanting to play off the left, and no one really wanting to play off the right. So it'll be interesting to see how Ollie shakes that one out in the end, and whether Daniel James can continue this sort of rich vein of goal scoring form. And then the equaliser, as I said, pretty sloppy. I think it was from a corner, wasn't it? It was a kind of second phase ball that came in. De Gea didn't punch it very well, and Lindelof was beaten in the air again, which is kind of worrying. He was going to get bullied in the air. People will start targeting him. And what I'd say is that typically on the second phase, you would reset from there because you're not in zones again. And so Maguire could have attacked that ball. Probably should have attacked that ball and didn't. But that for me is not like it's a quarter of a mistake from Maguire. Not as bad as failing to cover round against Palace, which I think was quite a bad mistake. A small mistake, and perhaps one of those things where two players who haven't played together very much didn't sort themselves out. Because we know what Lindelof's good at. He's good with the ball, and he reads the game pretty well. He's not outstanding in the air, and he's not super quick. So,
and to me, the quarter of a mistake thing, even the big mistake against Palace, you can partly put down to just learning to work in a new partnership and the fact that Maguire didn't have a pre-season here and all of that kind of stuff, rather than we necessarily assume that means this is the kind of mistake he's regularly going to make or whatever.
That's right.
The thing so I watched the game on Match of the Day, and Jermaine Genius was like, Ollie Solskjaer said United created lots of chances, but they didn't create any chances. And then in the background, there's a montage of chances and half chances on the screen behind him that, it's very much an interpretation thing, because you could say that Solskjaer said they were not clinical, and I think that doesn't just mean you don't take the chances, but it also means you don't hit the last pass to set up the really big chance and stuff. And
more than 20 shots.
Yeah,
now whether you can call them all chances is sort of I'd say a fair debate.
But it looked to me like 3 of them were chances: 2 from Rashford and 1 from Daniel James, all of which were, sorry to be boring about it, but all of which were 0.3 xg. Can't say that a 0.3 xg shot from inside the box is not a chance, can you? That's
no. And Wan-Bissaka took a shot, didn't he, early in the first half?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of sympathise with Ollie a little bit. I don't know if clinical's the right. Didn't finish the chances that were created at 0.3 xg shots, and you got 3 of them at 0.3 xg. You should be scoring a goal there. And that's why United's XG is nearly 2 in that game. So, a game many times United would have won. And we can say that about some of the other games this season. Then again, it's also a game that United didn't win, and it feels very familiar, doesn't it?
This is the problem, isn't it?
Result against this kind of team. And Southampton will probably finish mid-table or lower half of the table this season.
We're not in a good way, but this is the kind of season we kind of knew we were going to have, isn't it? The Chelsea game was a pleasant surprise, and I have to say, in a way, some of the football's been a bit of a pleasant surprise to me in terms of United's attacking intent and all of these kinds of things. So it's not, to me, this is the season that was always coming. So partly as a consequence of not being obsessed with watching every minute of it in the way that I've been in the past, and partly just from measuring expectations. I'm definitely not feeling the thing that seems to be going around a great deal, which is the mass freak out about, oh my God, we're still rubbish. What are we going to do? It's like, yeah, we are still rubbish, but how did anyone think that not with the signings that we made, we were going to be I mean, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire make a huge difference to our defensive integrity, which they have done. We've conceded goals, but not really chances. Ironically, maybe apart from against Chelsea, we haven't really conceded too many big chances at all. And then we didn't address the midfield, so we've got a massive problem. And Daniel James is doing way better than he had any right to do in terms of his initial impact. By the way, that's probably enough about Southampton. I'm pretty sure we haven't acknowledged on this podcast the fact that Alexis Sanchez, who we didn't even mention on the show last time, is now plying his trade at Inter, the retirement home for
semi-failed United players or
Yeah.
completely failed United players. Yeah. Well, look. So I guess we can praise. I guess it's Ollie who's been very strong and said there's certain players he just doesn't want at the club. So Darmian has also gone since we last spoke as well.
Really? Where's he then?
He went to Parma for 1.5 million euros. Now, I think there may be some bonuses added onto that as well, because some people quoted slightly more than that. But it's kind of weird one because it obviously had to go, but we knew that 2 years ago. And because United didn't get the fee they wanted, they refused to sell. But we paid his wages of 2 million odd euros a year anyway.
And sold him for a pittance.
And sold him for less. So yeah, it's not great.
United,
really.
United.
But he's gone. So Sanchez, and so a bunch of other players, and Smalling went to Roma, which was we haven't had a chance to talk about since we last spoke, which is interesting. Let's see how he does. It's not one I saw coming, but it makes sense for him, and I think he's pretty dignified about it and said he just wants to play games. And obviously Ollie's been straight with him and said, look, you know what I want. And he's been dropped for the same reason, effectively, that Gareth Southgate dropped him from the England team, which is, his quality on the ball is pretty low. And Ollie wants to be able to keep the ball out of the back. Unfortunately for United, our midfield is absolutely bobbing, so we can't keep the ball in midfield. But, one problem at a time, I guess. So anyway, in praise of Solskjaer for at least quite a lot of effort on the clearing out players who obviously aren't going to play.
That's massive. Yeah. Valencia, we've gone from looking around going, why are all these people still here, to actually now Darmian, Smalling, Sanchez, Lukaku, Valencia. That's a big summer for outgoings. Obviously, there's still one or two that you'd say, okay, well, Phil, how's your Italian? But Marcos, are you sure you want to still do this? And he's like, sí, es muy bien, because he's
there was an interview with Marcos Rocco in the past week saying he really wants to move so he can get back into the international setup.
Right. Well,
and I actually think the blocker on him moving is, one's his wages, but also exactly how much United are looking for him. Reportedly asked Everton for 25 million for him.
What goes on in Woodward's
Everton
head?
said, how about a cheeky loan? And Woodward said no. So he stayed. Yeah. So there's still some change to come. There's also thinking ahead now, there's an awful lot of players with not very much time left on their contracts, either 1 or 2 years. So quite a few with an option for a third as well. But see, De Gea's the pressing one. Reported in The Guardian this week that he's very close to signing a new deal on lower terms than perhaps had been demanded previously. It might be. He's looked around Europe a little bit, and no one's ponying up the money, so Old Trafford looks attractive again.
It's the chucking it in your own net tax.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Stop doing that, Dave.
Yeah.
Please. Otherwise, we're going to have a kind of worrying, millstone around our necks, aren't we? With Dave on a massive contract, everyone at one stage thinking that would have been awesome, and now worrying about it. I think some people have overreacted to that a little bit. You don't go from great keeper to crappy keeper overnight. It's been a good 6 months in the making.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think of all the positions in world sport, in football in particular, I do think that is one where you actually can go from being great to terrible overnight, because you can get the yips. Like David De Gea got the yips. That's what happened. And the it's really obvious that he got the big time, serious big boy yips last season. Now, whether somewhat that's recovered this season, it looks like it has, but one or two mistakes, he's going to get really shaky really fast. That's what I think about that.
We'll see.
We will.
Anyway,
but the
that's
Sanchez...
a digression. We were going to talk about Leicester.
Yeah, but I just thought we should probably talk about all these outgoings. In fact, let's give them maybe a bit more attention. First of all, I want to mention that Chris Smalling, I'm very happy for him, actually, because I think Roma is a pretty cool club to go and spend some time at. But it's got to be a difficult city to be a vegan in. Nobody's really thinking about this. Like, this is surely the place where you most want to consume cheese and ice cream in the whole world. But fair play to him. He's fully committed to the football thing.
Maybe there's some pizzerias with vegan cheese.
No, I'm sure there's a vegan gelateria in Rome. But still, he's taken on a significant personal challenge, and I respect him for that. Alexis Sanchez. Isn't it absolutely amazing that we were able to get someone to take him? And I wonder how much of his extraordinary wages are still on the United books.
I mean, more than half.
Right.
Yeah, so, yes, a significant proportion of the wages are being paid by United, and more than £10 million a year.
Well, you have to say that's a remarkable financial commitment to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's leadership, isn't it? You know, you're sort of saying that Solskjaer has drawn the line that this player won't play for United anymore, and the club have backed him to the tune of more than half of Alexis Sanchez's wages.
Yeah, well, I mean, but, sure, yes, but he could have stayed, and 100% of Alexis Sanchez's wages would have been paid by United.
Yeah, that's true.
And he still wouldn't have been producing anything. So
no.
I think a lot of the reports came out afterwards were a good piece in the Athletic, fine publication.
Yeah,
looking for podcast sponsorship somewhere. Give us a ring and we'll tell you to go somewhere else. No. Anyway, a good piece on why exactly United were so keen to get him out. You know, the disruptive nature of him, and maybe the fact that Dave is going to sign a contract at lower rates than he was reportedly after. Isn't a small part to do with the fact that Sanchez is now out.
Yeah.
And United are just being a bit harder about this. I mean, it's a hard lesson to learn. Hopefully it's been learned and we're no longer chasing shiny old things.
I mean, as has been widely pointed out by deeply average observers of United and football in general, that swap deal... that swap deal. Mkhitaryan is also in Italy, right? He's gone somewhere else.
He also went to Roma.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
It's all coming together. Get to hang out.
It's Serie A, the graveyard of failed Premier League players.
Yeah,
apparently.
God, imagine if you told us that in 1995.
Yeah. I think that's it. I don't think there were any other shocks.
No, that's some. There's some.
Damian Smalling, Sanchez,
the dead weights,
Lukaku.
A lot of it's cleared out. I mean, in fact, if you assume that you have to keep one of Jones or Rocco just for numbers, you could say that's really almost all the actual dead weight cleared out of the squad. I mean, there's some question mark. Fred.
Yeah,
poor old Fred.
I mean,
but
still plenty of question marks around the quality of the players who remain, of course.
But the actual fully no, this player is completely, definitely redundant to us. There's not so many of those.
Well, Fred.
Yeah, and one of Rocco or Jones, but still, it's nowhere near. A lot has been done, and given how critical I think we were, I didn't even think about the European transfer window when the British transfer window ended. I was thinking, what have he hasn't got rid of anyone, but in fact, he's got rid of tons of people, so that's good. The future doesn't necessarily look that bright, though. I think that Saturday's going to be really tough, and we might not win again.
I mean, it's at Old Trafford, isn't it?
So okay, let me ask you a question. What happened the last time Manchester United played at Old Trafford?
Yeah. And Leicester are one of those teams that do still, despite several changes of manager, like to play with the ball on the break. Occasionally, I don't think they're anywhere near their title-winning side in terms of playing like that. It's not least because they've got better players in midfield now. They didn't replace Maguire, They replaced from within Sagar Soyuncu. I'm probably absolutely bastardizing that one. Turkish international, and Johnny Evans still going strong, forming the backbone of their central defence. But I mean, the rest of it's really good. You know, they've Chilwell is growing into a really fine left back. Really fine. Pereira on the right hand side, I think, looks like he might have a good season. And Didi makes almost as many tackles as Wan-Bissaka.
By the way, I'm absolutely fuming here right now. I'm sitting here absolutely fuming at you saying they've got Johnny Evans, but the rest of it's good. Top 5 central defender in the world, Johnny Evans.
He was at one stage. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He's really good, though. He's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, up front, still got Jamie Vardy, still scoring goals.
Having a brilliant...
Even without Shinji Okazaka, who left for Sevilla, I think.
He just loves Brendan Rodgers. Vardy's like... Rodgers has been so smart. I mean, it's very basic, but he's been so smart with Vardy. Just like come in and gone, I love you, you're brilliant, you're playing every week, please score some goals, thank you, I love you. And it's working marvellously.
No, that's right. And look, and their midfield is very good. I mean, Harry Barnes, I think it is.
They're all called Harry nowadays, all the kids.
They're all called Harry. Yeah, I keep forgetting his first name. I keep wanting to call him Ashley Barnes, but he's a forward for Burnley.
Yeah.
So, and definitely not John Barnes, who has some issues, man. Has some big issues. Anyway, he looks like a good player, young player. Maddison, just an absolute assist machine. He's like the amount of chances he's created. He creates more chances than the whole of the United team, you know?
Yeah. And you know,
Yuri Tielemans looks like an absolute steal at 40 million, and Albrighton's still going strong, you know. So they've got a very strong midfield.
I don't.
It's definitely the best midfield outside the top 6. I'd say that, but then Wolves have got a pretty good midfield as well.
And I think there's a solid argument to say that it's considerably better than some of the midfields in the top 6 as well. So
any particular midfield you're thinking about?
I don't know, just one or two. I mean, also I don't think Arsenal's midfield's very good, is it? So that's I'd say Leicester have maybe got the... Well, depending on whether Lampard can get Chelsea functional, Leicester have arguably got currently the 4th best midfield in the league. I mean, I think N'Golo Kante bumps Chelsea up a spot on his own, but their midfield's not really working at the moment, and ours definitely isn't, and Arsenal's is Arsenal. So, and Leicester are right up there midfield-wise.
Well, and they're 3rd in the table, you know, unbeaten this season, couple of draws, couple of wins.
I don't understand why any United fan would go into this game thinking, oh yeah, we'll probably win this. Like, we might well win it, obviously, but there's nothing about the current form of these two sides which means that United should be substantial favourites for this game. There's nothing about the form of these two sides over the last 5 years that says that United should be substantial.
Well, I mean, Leicester did nearly get relegated like 3 years ago.
Yeah, then they won the league. It makes up for it, balances it out.
Then they nearly got relegated again.
Yes, good point. Then they sacked their league title winning manager, and Jose Mourinho was very upset in solidarity.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing that saves United in this battle for sixth place is that Leicester's squad's pretty thin.
As opposed to...
As opposed to ours. We've got 2 world-class players in every position. Yeah. On FIFA Ultimate Team.
Yeah, it's just like, if Pogba gets a cold, we're not going to win another game all season.
Yeah. So, yes, it'll be a tough one, undoubtedly. Do you have a prediction for this before we go into our round of questions from the listeners?
Yeah, I'm gonna say a brave 1-1 draw from the mighty Reds.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a sort of depressing negativity thing. It's let's all be realistic.
It will be on social media.
There's just no need though, because it's like, well, we're just not very good now. We've been really good for a really long time, and because of terrible ownership and awful top tier management, the squad's been left to go to ruins, and the current manager is desperately trying to rebuild in a sane way, clearing out dead weight and bringing in young talent to build the next generation of this side around. And he's
and yes, I'd say trust the process, but the process very heavily involves Ed Woodward, so it's hard to trust the process. But look, I'm sure we'll be asked about it, but I think what Ollie's done is he may well not be good enough. We'll see.
Yeah.
But he's got a very clear plan about what he wants. Right. The questions that have been answered and that we keep talking about are, what happens when a team is prepared to just sit. Because United don't have a very good answer to that one at the moment. I don't think Leicester will play like that. I mean, they play with more of the ball than they once did, but the threat from Jamie Vardy is clearly the ball through the middle and over the top. So they do play that one. But they've got lots and lots of very good ball playing midfielders.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing that you would say about the thing I'd want to say about United and kind of having a somewhat negative prediction about it is if we score early, anything's possible. Like this team with its tails up, I still think is really good. It's just that they can't sustain it and they can't deal with things going against them. For sustained periods of time, and they really struggle to break teams down. But I do, Leicester will give them space to play in. It's just whether Rashford can take advantage of, having to deal with one of the top 5 central defenders in the world.
All right, so we're going to do sort of any questions answered bumper listener questions edition.
Let's
because we haven't got much to talk about, even though we did spend like 25 minutes talking about not much. It's a perpetual episode of Seinfeld.
Hashtag Rankcast.
So yeah, we'll do 20, half an hour, whatever. We'll see how long it takes to get through a few questions. So I've got one to pick out to start with, just because this is something we haven't talked about yet. _ Dev Guitar on Twitter says, "Did you watch the Keane Neville thing? If so, thoughts?"
All I heard was I just saw a friend of the show, Darren Richmond, sent me some stuff that Roy Keane said, and I think Roy Keane might be a scumbag. I think he might be an idiot, to be honest, when it comes to mental health issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
he can go to hell. In fact, in my opinion.
Wow.
I don't care for toxic masculinity about people's emotional issues. It's killing men. That's the truth.
Yes.
So men are dying.
He said a lot of different things, not just that. So it was a 2-hour onstage thing with Gary Neville and Balls.ie. And they're doing a bit of a roadshow, and he talked about a lot of things. So the thing you're alluding to is him sort of poking holes, making fun of Jonathan Waters, who's obviously had a pretty tough time. Mother died at a very young age. He's had mental health issues. He has cried publicly about it, and Keane wasn't very kind. And he that was a bit evil. That was. But he also talked about Alex Ferguson and his relationship with Fergie, which was interesting because it's awful lot of water under the bridge since 2005. But to listen to Keane, absolutely no water under the bridge. So he hasn't spoken to him or seen him since, it would seem, and said he won't until Fergie apologises. What do you reckon the chances of Fergie apologising for anything, let alone kicking Roy Keane out of the club, are not high?
No.
Gary Neville, obviously he must have known that this would come up. And he's agreed to go do it. But he was sat there looking deeply uncomfortable. Look, Roy Keane may be a scumbag. He's definitely, got not nice person traits. But he's absolute box office.
Oh yeah, and I really mean what I say when I say that attitude needs to just be called out as the absolute garbage, idiot, murderous garbage that it is. Like Roy Keane's not killing anyone, but that attitude is killing men. Like at a crazy men under the age of 35 in Britain are more likely to kill themselves than be killed by illness or accident. That's the and this is. There's a lot of different reasons for this, but the single biggest one is that men are not allowed to express emotion. And this is absolute nonsense and needs to be called out for what it is. But Roy Keane's a complicated man, and he has many intriguing qualities. And box office, he is not short of charisma, is he?
No, he's not. And look, it was... It was interesting, some of the things he said about Ferguson, not only about the personal feud, but then he said, do you think Ferguson always had the club's best interests at heart? And absolutely Ferguson did not. It absolutely did not. We're we talk about the Glazers and Ed Woodward weekly. People are trying to trend Glazers out, and the seeds of the Glazer takeover were sown by Ferguson, right? For those who don't remember, Ferguson got into a row over some horse cum.
So not only that, but he also hook, line, and sinker subjugated the club to the Glazers' ownership afterwards.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and
in a way that because he'd once sort of sold himself as the man of the people and a man for the fans, and had used that to get himself better contracts, in the past, felt deeply, deeply disingenuous and about his own needs. I mean, at least Edward Woodbury has always been a carpet bagging scumbag. He's always been there to shill for the Glazers.
Yeah.
Ferguson wasn't that. He was the opposite of that, and then he became that. Anyway, talking around the subject, but it was great fun. And I do agree with your point. Roy Keane is not the most nuanced man when it comes to the subject of mental health.
No.
Anyway, have we got any more questions?
Yeah, we got loads. Talking of people talking on stages, at Briggs P tweets says, "Can you translate Cantona's acceptance speech?" Listen, right? Eric Cantona is a very simple man. When he said, "When the seagulls follow the trawlers, it is because they believe sardines will be thrown over the edge," he was sat in a packed, baying press conference.
Yes.
Oh,
who were the seagulls?
What an enigmatic, subtle metaphor that is.
Yeah.
No.
Well, actually, I think that's us misunderstanding the reaction, or the the reaction. Oh, he's so crazy, was because if the press hadn't written that and the commentators hadn't written that, they would be admitting he was talking about them and he was calling them out.
Yeah.
As rats of the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this one, I mean, this was a beautiful, glorious moment. I'm sure everyone listening to this has seen it. If somehow you haven't, look up Eric Cantona's acceptance speech where he accepted the President's Award at some, was it a FIFA do? I think it was a FIFA do. And the best bit about it by far are Ronaldo and Messi sitting next to each other, listening to what he's saying. So he opens the speech by saying, "As flies are to small boys, so men are to the gods. They play with us for their sport," or whatever it is, which is a quote from King Lear about, how man's fate is not necessarily in his own hands. Then he says, "We're getting to the point where science will enable humans to live forever, but it won't matter because we'll still kill each other." Which all he's saying is, don't look purely to scientific invention and discovery to cure the human condition of its flaws. Look within, develop your... It's just a simple anti-war message, essentially. And then he says, "I love this game, ha ha ha," because he wanted to big up Patrice Evra's Instagram.
Yeah. I don't think Eric Cantona talks that cryptically, to be honest.
There's nothing cryptic about it.
He talks poetically.
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you what, the collective British psyche, not great with people talking poetically. Ironic, given the beautiful poetic history that's been produced here. I can't remember who it was, and I'm really sorry about this, but somebody messaged me saying Ronaldo's reaction to that was that of a man confronting the concept of his own mortality for the first time.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. Because Ronaldo genuinely looks like, I think this might be really good. He's kind of excited about it. Then there's one bloke in the crowd that it cuts to who's just shaking his head, utterly baffled. But because Cantona speaks a bit slowly, and because he sort of doesn't say, "Oh yeah, I want to thank my mum and my dad and the football world for this beautiful honour," he actually uses it to try and, make a statement about human nature. People get very freaked out very quickly.
Yeah. Don't do that. At Jax365 says, "I figured out who you are, Ed. You're Dominic Cummings." What? I'm not. I'm really, really not.
Who's Dominic Cummings?
The genius. Dominic Cummings is Boris Johnson's chief strategist. He's a nihilist. He's not actually a sort of traditional conservative. He's one of the people who pushed through the strategy behind the Leave.eu campaign. Aaron
Great,
Banks's
great.
campaign that was funneled where hundreds of thousands of pounds, possibly even millions, it's all very opaque, was funneled through the DUP in Northern Ireland because they have very different election financing laws, and then found their way to Leave.eu that way overspent. Anyway, we talk about that forever. That was Dominic Cummings. I'm not him.
Well, you
But now, seriously,
seem to know a lot about him for someone who claims not to be him.
I follow politics.
Yeah.
And seriously, what a second name.
Yeah.
No one has. No, but seriously, how do you think a no deal or a hard Brexit will affect United in the Premier League? This is the kind of interesting one, because actually it's much more about the Premier League's deal with the Home Office on what players will qualify for a work permit or not, right? So, and much less about the EU. So the EU, obviously, there's freedom of movement of any players who comes through the EU or who are EU citizens, or have an EU passport of some kind. Since the government has studiously decided not to enforce the rules that it has at its place around immigration of citizens from the EU, and then decided to blame said immigrants, getting on my soapbox here, we've had a very large number of EU players coming into the UK. That may change. It looks like, but hasn't been agreed, that there will be some kind of points-based system similar to what we have for non-EU players now, right? So ranking of country and number of international caps and how many games they've played in the international team and stuff like that. It looks like that, but it's not actually been agreed. So it may slow down how many players from outside of the UK come into the Premier League. It may not, because we don't know the rules yet.
Oh, these bloody idiots. Bloody waste of time and money and effort and anxiety. Anyway, I'm not going to. Every time anyone talks about the practical realities of it, I just get super bummed out. Super bummed out by these. Oh, anyway, forget it. Forget it.
Oh, look, we've signed a free trade agreement with the Maldives.
Yes.
All right.
United. Keep getting these, like, on other podcasts, there are these adverts saying Brexit. If your business deals with the EU, you need to know about Brexit. Go to dove.uk/Brexit. Like, what can that tell you?
Funnily enough, you brought this up because piece in I think it was the Guardian this week, saying, or maybe the Times, saying that the strategy that Cummings and Johnson are now trying to push through is to use .gov.uk as not just a source for disinformation and propaganda, but as a data collection exercise.
Oh, brilliant.
So, yeah, in order to fuel the Tories' probably illegal ad spending for the next pending election. The other thing that was interesting was that the Treasury's Twitter account was pushing out no deal propaganda, saying in the result of a no deal, you will not pay duty on cigarettes and alcohol coming into the UK from European countries. Right. So, I mean, the mental gymnastics on this one is magnificent. Almost no one pays any duty on. Well, there is no duty. Sorry, there is no duty on cigarettes and alcohol coming from the EU. You have to pay local tax, right? And so what they're jumping through hoops here are, well, if within a certain limit, because there will be limits, you bring back goods from the EU in a post no deal Brexit scenario, you won't pay duty on those, presuming they're under the limit, and you also theoretically might be able to claim tax back, like you can when you're coming from outside the EU now, theoretically. But there will still be a strict limit, and it's going to be like a litre of whiskey or something like that. So if you're interested in not paying any duty and not paying any tax, by all means, go and fly to France and get yourself a couple of bottles of wine. I'm sure it'll be worth it for you.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit political, this, Paul. We're supposed to be talking about football.
You're blaming me. I just said it was really depressing. Football is politics, but not the specifics of EU, Treasury, duty, tax laws. Especially since like a substantial percentage of our listeners are in like India and America, and they're like, we don't care about any of your pathetic political infighting in your stupid country, and rightly so. At Match of the Dan says, if De Gea does leave, which overpriced, underachieving, and inferior British keeper will we replace him with? Hashtag Rantcast. Hashtag say no to Pickford. Yeah, quite possibly. Quite possibly it will be hashtag welcome Jordan. And not Sancho.
I suspect. I don't know why United would dump 80 million on Jordan Pickford. Really, I kind of suspect he's quite average. Anyway, I suspect if De Gea doesn't sign this new deal, and they've been looking around Europe for keepers for quite some time. You know, there was a very strong inquiry for Onana at Ajax, for example. And others, and Oblak, but Oblak would be phenomenally expensive. I wonder whether the default position might not be just to go for Romero and Henderson and see what happens. You know, that would be the Glazonomics version of it. Henderson's maturing as a player. I don't know yet know if he's good enough for an aspiring top 4 side.
Good enough for that big top 6 battle that we're in.
Yeah. But he looks like a talented player, and Flappy Serge hasn't flapped around for a while. But it's all come down on De Gea at his peak.
Yeah. All right, your turn, Ed.
At Lotta Nicholas says, should we revert back to 3 in midfield, allowing Pogba to play further forward? Also, what's happened to Fred? Seems like Ollie doesn't rate him.
I mean, yes. Yeah, that
double question allows us to talk about the both of them. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think there's a lot of... we've talked about this one a lot, right? So the trade-offs between playing Pogba further forward and having to bring Matic into the side. Yeah, I know. Paul is staring at me wide-eyed at that thought. Or playing Pogba deeper, having a load of absolute fucking numpties on Twitter going, well, he's not creating any chances, is he? And playing Lingard further forward, who, at this stage looks like your favourite phrase, a competition winner.
He's also not creating any chances, to be fair. I think this is the biggest, most difficult decision that faces Solskjaer in terms of what we do moving forward. And it looks to me like he's made his decision, and I think it's the right one. I think it hasn't come off yet. Slightly unfortunately, I do think it is fair to say that we have been slightly unfortunate to be where we are now in terms of performance and chance creation. I think it's probably accurate reflection of where we're at as a kind of collective in terms of collective mentality and spirit and all those sorts of things. But in terms of playing Pogba deeper and whether we're creating enough chances, I think you're going to lose so much having someone else in that role that he's currently playing in. At some point, you think if it keeps not working the way it is, he's going to have to switch something up. But the other thing that...
he did against Southampton, of course, because Matic went off. Mata went off. Matic came on, and Pogba shifted into a more forward position. And United created a whole bunch of semi-chances.
Yeah.
Not great ones in the last 20 minutes or so, playing against 10 men. But yeah, it's a really difficult choice. Really difficult. It would need someone to mature very quickly, or Fred to come back from the brink. Other part of that question, like, where is he?
I think it's irrelevant, really. I think between last season and this season, Fred's days at United are just numbered, aren't they?
Who's going to pay anything for him? That's the problem.
Sure, but...
And Pereira looks deeply, deeply lightweight in central midfield and pretty lightweight on the right wing.
Yeah, so we need, one of the kids maybe come through, play at number 10. Just play Angel Gomez at number 10 every week for 6 weeks.
There's a whole bunch of questions about Angel Gomez, so, perhaps we can...
I don't really know what else to...
a little bit.
Don't really know what else to say
Angel Gomez got a lovely goal for the under-23s last week. and he's playing very well at under 23 level, and he played for the England under 21s. His challenge, of course, is that Ollie just doesn't seem to think he's mature enough yet to play that role. I mean, he couldn't be worse, really, than Lingard's output.
Absolutely, I think I would quite like to see the gamble. Do you know that on the cover of Man United have done a deal with Pez, the other football game? I'm assuming you probably know that, but it's not FIFA.
Not Pez the Pez.
No, Pez Pro Evolution Soccer. And there's an MUFC edition of Pez, and on the cover are Marcus Rashford and Scott McTominay and Jesse Lingard. Scott McTominay's in the middle of the cover of a football game. That is not something I ever thought would happen. Anyway, I've loads of questions to pick from. I think this is an interesting one. At Rich Saville says, during a good run under Ole, some journalists were slating United because they were losing games on XG and this would catch up with them, which it did. This season, United are winning on XG in every game despite poor results in reality. When will this eventually right itself? And I do think there's a significant point here that everyone, there is let's say a certain subsection of people who cover football whose approach when it was going well at United last season was to be like, XG is not very good, but none of them are talking about how consistently United are massively outperforming their opposition on next year. And historically, we have seen that teams' form does tend to trend towards its XG.
Just one caveat on that. I mean, certainly defensively, United in a good position, REXG. Attacking wise, I mean, you take the 2 penalties out, and it doesn't look that good, right? So,
what I never fully understand. I mean, I get what that's important.
Well, because it's about sort of organic chance creation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But creating a penalty for yourself is organic chance creation in a way, isn't it? So
yeah, Daniel James is quite good at creating penalties. But poor lad's going to get a reputation. He got booked again at the weekend, didn't he, against Southampton?
Gosh.
I might be lying about that one.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, he's been booked a couple of times, and both, I think, deeply unfair. Anyway, let's move on. Rob Robinlow says, this is the first time in a long time the England cricket team and the football team are both more entertaining than United. I actually felt more excited downbeat during the Ashes highs and lows than I do seeing United games play out these days. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting emotional response because I think it's, we have, and you've said it a little bit, Time, you had to take a little bit of a step back and accept that United are not going to be that good this season. This is the team that's going to probably finish somewhere between 4th and 7th, and there may not be that many points between 4th and 7th. It would be an overperformance to finish 3rd and miracle to finish above that. So, accept that there's going to be some deep inconsistency. And let's not go completely hysterical after 4 games of the season. The other parts of that England football team won twice in their qualification, very comfortably beat Bulgaria, decent performance. I actually watched that game. And then I missed the game against Kosovo.
Sounds bananas. I haven't seen anything about it.
Which was 5-3. England were 5-1, were 1-0 down after 34 seconds, 5-0 up at 5-1 up at half time, and then pegged back to 5-3. And I've only seen the goals. I didn't watch the game. I completely forgot it was happening.
Yeah.
That's how much attention I pay to the England football team, I guess.
The cricket was really, it was really sad in a way, Old Trafford. But Steve Smith is Leo Messi for cricket. He's an absolutely alien level talent.
Annoying. He's so annoying.
I don't find him annoying. I don't find him annoying at all. He doesn't know how. He just doesn't. He eventually gets that. My favourite thing about the whole Steve Smith thing was loads of people talking about, we dropped him on 118. It's like, you shouldn't be bemoaning a missed chance when a batsman's on 118 because they go on to get 211. At Mere Opinion says, why am I getting the feeling this is the Rankcast pod's last year? You're making me sad, Ed and Paul. And at Jay Bonza says, not really a question, but just to say I still really enjoy the show and look forward to it every week. It sounds like you guys are enjoying it more this year so far too, despite the mixed results. Hope you're both well. Thank you, James, friend of the show.
I mean, I think it comes back to the last question, doesn't it, a little bit? It depends how much emotionally invested. Or maybe that's not the right way of putting it, but how you deal with that emotional... Yeah, expectations, right? Yeah. So, the expectations aren't massively high. Of course, I'm disappointed when England, United, don't win. But yeah, I don't expect them to win. I didn't expect them to win all the time last season. It was just that it made me angry every week with two things. One, Mourinho pretending like he was Chemical Alley as the tanks rolled behind, No, nothing to see here. We're great. And Mourinho stands like swamping Twitter with their Mourinho stuff.
Yeah.
And now he's gone, and so I don't have to talk about him ever again. And I like Ollie. I wish him the best. I want him to do well. He's got loads of problems, but he has a very clear plan. And dare I say it, he's brought back a little bit of identity to United, because you know exactly what you're going to get out of this United team. That's a problem, of course, tactically and in terms of the results. But he's trying, and he's one of us. The fan won the competition. He's now in the
Yeah, and the idea that we should be better than we are right now, or apart from like financial muscle, there's no United don't have a divine right to be good, and it's been and there's been so
we are God's own team.
Exactly. We've been so systematically destroyed over the last number of years by chronic mismanagement that basically, it's sort of to tie it into the first question. For me, it was much more likely that last season would have been the last season that I could do the podcast than this season's going to be the last season of it, because I had genuinely took a good long look at the role that United plays in my life over the summer, because it's the kind of thing I do, and was like, well, if I'm going to do the podcast, I can't get sucked into the dialogue around United in the same way, because I completely agree with you. The problem last season wasn't even the football, it was the dialogue around United. When I reflect back on it, that's the thing that was so draining. So kind of extricating myself from that and just going into this season with a kind of general, somewhat blasé attitude to whether we win or lose, and just not because I don't care, but because I'm looking for something different now out of United, which is I'm just looking for the stuff that's fun, and we're going to try and cover that. And obviously we'll do whatever bit of analysis we do on the games honestly, but I'm going to try and do it with a kind of somewhat relaxed attitude, basically.
Yeah, fair enough. Munquin Knight says, which current United players will you cast in a Hobson Shaw style film?
Pog and Shaw.
Pog and Shaw. Yeah. Have they got fast cars?
They must have. We've all got fast cars, right? And footballers these days care more about the haircuts and the cars than they do about the football.
That's right. Well, no, actually, if you saw Jadon Sancho tweeting this week, he cares deeply about his FIFA Ultimate Team ratings.
And rightly so.
In the good old days, footballers cared about fast cars and loose women. And that was it. And maybe a bit of drinking. Not the shenanigans with computer games.
If you were a 19-year-old wonder kid, I don't know how old is he 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah, something
if you're that age and you're not obsessed with your FIFA team Ultimate Team ranking, there's something wrong with you. Like, how could you not be like, why am I not 98 or whatever it is?
Yeah, of course. Like, I'm going to just ignore the word current. This has to be Evra and Park Ji-sung. Has to be. That'd be a great film.
Yeah, it would. That would be good. But like, so a Hobbs and Shaw style film, I don't think cars really are in Fast and Furious anymore, Ed, except in as much as they are dropped out of planes.
Yes, I know.
I know this is a point that's been widely observed, but the first Fast and Furious movie centres on a heist where DVD players are stolen. And now it's about stopping the Earth getting blown up by satellites and stuff. So it's The Rock and Jason Statham, isn't it? I feel like there's a lot of people out there who think that United's big problem is they don't have enough Jason Stathams. Harry Maguire, The Rock has a very big head, and so does Harry Maguire. So
The Rock has a big everything. Man's in his 50s and he's absolutely stacked.
Yeah, he is a large gentleman. Future president, The Rock.
Oh God! You know what? It's probably true. You heard it here first, folks.
I mean, not first, sadly. This is widely discussed.
Omar Sveinsson says, Sveinsson? I guess so. The search for an identity for the team. In the past, what passed? The team changed all the time, but we never changed the approach. That was mostly based on self-belief and arrogance. Can the team get back to that place without new signings?
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, because, I don't know. Are we talking about Fergie era? Fergie had many, many teams. He had the team that Roy Keane talked about a bit in that thing he did with Gary Neville, the 4-4-2, and the kind of throw caution to the wind team of what, 93 to
97?
9. Yeah. I mean, I think, maybe 2001 when we got turned over by Real Madrid, and I mean, this is law, right? And then after that, Ferguson just became much more circumspect, at least in European competition, changed the system a lot. Sometimes played with just one up top and three in midfield, brought one Veron in to try and do that. So, he played many systems, and in some games, United absolutely parked the bus, including on the way to the 2008 victory in 2 legs against Barcelona, where we barely got out of our own box for 180 minutes. So, yeah. The second part of that question, do we need the right signings to get back to that place? Well, we need the right signings to get back to a good team.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be organic. I mean, there are lots of good younger players, but if we're betting on that, that's a massive bet. 1, 2, most of them are pretty young, and we might be looking at a 3 to 5 year timeline, and that's a very big bet.
Yeah.
On that kind of timeline.
Yeah, I agree with that. And talking of which, at red_T_devil says, how would social media have responded to the class of 92 in the early years? Seems no patience are spared in the modern game now. And I kind of think the what if Twitter existed then thing's a bit of a trope, but I do think this is something that has been happening for a long time, that United fans collectively have changed their approach to young players from fantastic, one of our own's in the team, let's proper get behind them and give them the patience and time they need to develop into a superstar, to kind of folded arms like, right then, are you good enough? Are you ready? And the reason that I don't think this is all about social media is that Darren Fletcher was almost a proto-example of this. It felt he was absolutely hammered left and right in his early days. And that was very early, like forums and that sort of internet.
Yeah, I mean, sure. And the pages of Red Issue dubbing him the Scottish player, very clever nickname, but completely brutal. And yeah, he took a long time to mature. And I mean, specifically related to the class of 92, I mean, they went from League Cup introductions one season, which weren't that high profile, to basically being in the team the next, and United won the league. So, it's a little bit different in that United very quickly was successful with these players, but it was a big gamble by Fergie, and he obviously believed in them. And as for the trope, I mean, we had Usenet back then. I'm definitely going to age myself, text-based message boards. And there were United ones. I remember a United message board, I don't know, mid-90s, where somebody was supposed to be sending you had to click on a link or download a sort of attachment thing for a photo, and it was downloading lines.
Not allowed.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing.
And it was supposed to be a football picture, and it actually turned out to be him showing his cock. So I got sent a dick pic by some arsehole on a United forum, and it scarred me.
I can't believe you were like, oh, I've got to click on this attachment. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Before we knew better. At _Vivek13 says, who's a bigger F1 fan, Ed or Paul? I don't really like F1 at all. Do you?
No, not really. I mean, I sort of half see what's going on. I don't remember the last time I watched a full race. I do like cars, but F1, yeah.
I think, did you used to like F1 when you were much younger?
I probably did watch it, yeah. I probably did. It was probably a Sunday afternoon ritual. Yeah. I mean, part of the problem with F1 is I want to put this the right way. I was going to say the safety is taken out of the excitement. It's not that. It's the amount of technology, safer courses, and the bigger teams having all the money, and there being sort of a concentration of power and wealth in a few teams means that it's not a free for all of loads of overtaking. If you want that, there are other formulas you can watch that have sort of standardized cars or motorbike racing. That is pretty good because people are falling off all the time, and sometimes they fight.
Wow, I did not know that they fought. That's like
while on the motorbike.
Mega Drive game Road Rash. Talking of aging yourself, I watched an episode of Top Gear because Freddie Flintoff's on it now, and I love Freddie Flintoff. I'll watch almost anything that he's on. And they did this thing where they did Formula Off-Road, which was absolutely unbelievable. Like, there's these crazy buggy things, and they have to drive really fast so they can sort of jump up cliffs. That was pretty good.
I did once do dune bashing out in the desert in Dubai once.
Right.
That was fairly terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, kind of good fun. But...
And also, all of this, I have to say, does feel slightly antithetical to a 21st century where the world's heating up at the speed that it is, and the carbon and all.
Well, there's Formula E, of course.
There you go.
They sound kind of wrong, though.
Is that why it's called Formula E? Because it's Formula E.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I've got a hybrid car. Not that exciting. I've got to say, pretty boring.
You can cope.
Boring. I can. I have a motorbike as well for thrills.
I've seen your motorbike. It's ridiculous.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. It's very, very, very nice. And very practical for your needs as a family man, isn't it?
Yeah, well, exactly. There's one seat. They can't bother me when I'm on it. Fraser Kroll says Sancho and Maddison for 100 million each next summer. Yes or no?
Yes, obviously.
Yes.
Why not?
Well, we've got the money. Absolutely. I mean, Sancho's definitely going to be a world-class player. Definitely. Maddison, probably. His numbers, look it. I mean, it's hard to say because obviously he's playing in Leicester with, I was going to say inferior players, but it depends who they're inferior to, really. But he looks very promising. He's definitely better than Ross Barkley.
Right.
No good, Ross Barkley, and he keeps getting in the England side.
Yeah. Him and Jason Roy. No, Jason Roy's very good. I'm not going to be mean about World Cup hero Jason Roy. You've been very mean about World Cup hero Jason Roy in the last 2 months, Ed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, I before the last test, I did say chances of Roy getting out, trying to absolutely biff one through the covers, 100%. He didn't get out. He got a good one that nipped back.
Jaffa.
Although,
Absolute Jaffa.
have to say, he did get a Jaffa. There is 18 inches between his bat and his pad. 18 inches. He's still not trying to block that. He's trying to give that a clump.
Yeah. Honestly, even though the Ashes are done, I'm still ridiculously excited about the fact there's another test match tomorrow. And the period between the end of the Oval Test and, I was going to say the beginning of the New Zealand Test, but I'm not going to see any of that because it'll be on at incredible o'clock in the
3 in the morning. Yeah,
but I'm so happy that the Winter Tour's in South Africa this year. So I'll watch all the cricket because it's at the right time of day.
Yes, because it'll be on at good times, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not going to this test, but I've been to tests at the Oval before, and cricket at the Oval. It's always good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Proper crowd, unlike Lord's.
And just the last cricket note of the day, Moeen Ali's knock in the quarterfinal of the Vitality Blast is one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. Kind of my memory of him looking so broken at Edgbaston in the 5th Ashes Test, and then seeing him in person with the knock that he played for Worcestershire against Warwickshire in the T20, and then that 100 in the final, in the quarterfinals. Incredible. It's ridiculous that people can do that with a cricket ball.
Very good.
That'll do, right?
Biggie T.
Oh,
last one, because it's topical.
Yeah.
Words. Van der Sar be a good choice for director of football. Thoughts. Piece in the Mirror this week suggesting that United have approached him.
If it's not...
I take every single director of football story with a I was going to say pinch of salt, massive bucket full of salt, because I don't believe the club are serious about it. I don't believe any serious candidate would take this job either, because they will be beholden to United's business model, which is about returning between 20 and 30 million pounds a year in dividends to the Glazers, who are the only Class B shareholders, right? So, Class B being more important than Class A in this case. Class A's, you normally don't relegate. But in this case,
I saw
should.
Immediately what your brain was doing as soon as you said the word Class A's there, Ed.
Just say no, kids. Just say no to the Glazers. They're evil.
Yeah.
And Van der Sar, well, he's CEO at Ajax, not technical director. Mark Overmars is the technical director. I think Van der Sar has moved beyond that. They're his club. He is in the Ed Woodward position. Why on earth would you prostrate yourself to Woodward?
Also, we don't believe stories in the Mirror. If it's not in the Athletic, then the Rankcast position is that it's not reliable.
Well, at least what the Athletic have done is allow all the other newspapers to promote some up-and-coming youngsters into writing positions, because, their copy desks have just been emptied.
It's so funny. It's so funny. And by the way, I just want to be absolutely clear. The Athletic thing is just a stupid running gag, because someone out there will take it seriously and be like, are they really?
No, there's some good stuff. There genuinely is some good stuff
Absolutely.
on there. And there will still be some good stuff when they go bust with $100 million worth of debt.
Aren't they making loads of money? Aren't they? Isn't their model really
they
working?
Probably are. Their model, well, they're a venture capital. I don't know. They're venture capital backed private market companies still. So
right.
I don't know exactly what their revenue over costs are, but their model is to invest in content and and get an audience, a paying audience, by investing in that content. It's a model that has worked for Netflix and other content companies.
Well, when you say worked for Netflix, how Netflix doing money wise?
Well, no, they'll spend about $15 billion this year on original production, and that's about 77% of their revenue base. So they're still losing a ton of money, but it's a long-term bet on becoming a de facto monopoly, which Netflix definitely won't become. Sorry, I could talk forever about this one, but
and if you want
in the biz,
if you want more content like that, then patreon.com/rankcast, you get bonus content every week. Could be about anything. Talking of paywalls, I do think
well, that's right. And this week we're talking about the market segmentation of the direct consumer.
The thing about the Athletic is I do think that basically all football fans should be rooting for it to succeed, because it's such a sane model for creating actual good content. If you like football, that's the thing. Plus they sponsor loads of my friends. Not us. Don't sponsor us.
We're not bitter. We're happy for them.
Just everyone we know is either working for them or getting sponsored by them. So.
No clickbait. No transfer rumors. No ads. No pre-roll video.
Yeah.
No really sad journo on his phone, doing a piece to camera, definitely against his will, even though the bosses have told him he has to in order to get his 25th piece of content in that day, to get a measly amount of clicks.
And to sign up for 50% off your first year, so go to theathletic.com/rankcast and you'll find it doesn't exist. We're doing this for nothing, like idiots. All right.
Oh dear. All right. I think that's plenty of questions.
That'll do. Yeah.
Are you bored yet, folks?
I'm gonna go 1-1 against Leicester. Did I already say that? I already said that.
I think you did say that. I'm. You know what? Not so much negative Nancy. I'm going to say United going to win 2-1 somehow.
Excellent.
Daniel James screamer into the top corner.
This is what now your weekly United-related optimism is. You can't even construct a means by which United are going to win. It's just somehow they'll find a way. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We love you. And we'll be back next week. Well, in fact, sooner than that, we'll be back after the Leicester game. We're
will
going to have a couple of quick fire rantcasts because we've got to get in time to preview the FC Astana game. Didn't talk about the
I'm
draw.
looking forward to that one.
Didn't talk about
forward to that.
Didn't talk about the Europa League draw. Literally Thursday night away in Kazakhstan. That's not a joke. That's literally what's going to be happening. Except I've looked it up. It's not Thursday night. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday.
Oh. That'll be worth missing a couple of meetings for. Yeah.
How far we done fell.
Wow. That's a trip, that one. Anyway, good luck, United, for Thursday night. We'll preview that one with some really in-depth analysis on
Astana.
Astana's. Yeah. Nice.
All right. Take it easy, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.